Namaste, my friend. How are you doing? I laid the foundation of become totally free from the emotional dependence, attachment, and what else? Unexamined life, lack of awareness, etc., etc. So I deviated a bit into another text where the teaching focuses on hammer the delusion and find an unconditional love with. Hammer the delusion. We can hammer the delusion by knowledge only. Normally, people have misconceptions that that okay, let me do the practice and I relax. So when you relax, the anxiety and the reaction are still present. If we don't remove by understanding, by knowledge in the mind, it pops up again, and that is the reason. So uh, I deviated to this text, which whose name is Hammer the Delusion, and find an unconditional love within. Normally, we find attachment, obsession, craving as the form of love, but that is the conditional love. And that conditional love causes the problem. That is what we are trying to understand. So, if we need to have a right knowledge, that leads to right perception, right sensation, right action. So, once we have a right thought, speech, and action, the problem is already resolved at the intellectual level. But we don't have the right thought, right speech, and right action. Why we don't have it? That is what we are going to understand and discuss in detail in today's lesson. So you have to listen to this again and again, and then you relate it. Then you relate it to daily life activities. Say, for example, I don't know you. What practice can help me to know you? There is no practice required. You pass on the information. Yes, you are Michael, you are Mike, and you are Michelle, you are Nancy, and that is how we know. No practice, only knowledge that you are Sandy, Michelle, or Michael. I have to hear it and I have to see you. No practice is required. Same way, delusion that causes the suffering can only be removed by knowledge and understanding. And if we do not understand, the mind continues to follow that impulsive nature, instinctive nature, habitual nature. It does not change its habit. And when it does not change its habitual thought process, then we have a problem. And that is why, huh? That is why you are listening, and I'm passing on this knowledge to you. Eastern wisdom lays stress on both the areas, listening and learning, contemplation and reflection, one area, followed by the practice is the second area. Because there are so many accumulated impressions are deposited. So I have to get rid of it. I need to do the practice. And that is the second area. We know the conditional love. Whenever we say, I love you, I like this, it is conditional. You like someone or something because of many reasons. So if there are many reasons behind, my love, it is conditional love. So better to say it is an attachment. We say in Eastern wisdom, this is attachment. I love coffee. I love tea. I like this shirt. I like this car. I love this car. What a beautiful house it is. There is always a sense of attachment. An attachment and condition goes with it. Well, why you like this house? So you give 10 reasons. Why you like this car? You give 10 reasons. And so any form of conditional love to any object, person, situation, event is going to backfire at the emotional level. It causes the emotional dependence, and emotional dependence leads to craving and obsession and a repetitive thought process. And this thought process causes an intense attachment, and intense attachment causes the conditional, so-called the conditional love. Conditional love means attachment, expectation, desire, craving, and that makes the mind impure, the delusion, deluded, and frustrated. I loved you so much. A couple was talking in front of me. I have taken care of you for so long. I sacrificed my life for you. Who told you to sacrifice? My mind, because of the attachment. We may use more words and the phrases like this, and after that we are frustrated, deluded, and suffering. So refrain from making these words. But before you think, you have to think clear. Last time you sent an email about your anxiety, about you are seeking an approval. Behind seeking an approval, there is a conditional love. Why you seek an approval? You are mature, you are intelligent, you are wise. Think of the issue or the problem, find out the solution, do it, find out the peace in you, and then say to everyone, yes, this was the problem and I solved like this. No approval, no approval is required. Yes, but if you don't know, yes, you should research. You should seek the help and support from others who are ready to give you. So the emotions directed outward, seeking, claiming that it is love. No, it is not love. Emotions directed outward to a person, to a situation, to any event. It is all about attachment, delusion. Attachment, emotions directed inward drops the attachment, drops the conditional love. Can I ask you a simple question? Do you love yourself? Yes. You really love yourself for the sake of love. If the tongue is hurt by the teeth, you don't punish the teeth. If someone hurts you, you keep on thinking, I love this guy so much. And no, it is attachment, conditional love. Think. Emotion directed inward drops the attachment, even if we are attached to the real self. But if I'm attached to the real self, that is what we are going to learn. If I'm attached to my own nature, my essence, I'm attached to my peace, my happiness, my love, truth, and wisdom, it will go a long way. It will help you to get rid of all the kinds of attachment delusion. Right hand harms the left hand. Sometimes it happens. You do not punish, but you love both the hands. Unconditional love. I'm just giving you some ideas and then we will open up how to. Goal is hammer the delusion by knowledge, by understanding, move the mind inside to find the unconditional love. And once you find the unconditional love, you don't need the love from others. It does not mean you don't express your love. If someone says that I love you, you appreciate, you recognize it. That is all. But your mind has stopped expecting any kind of approval, attachment. That is what we normally say the love, but it is not love, it is conditional love. And the conditional love and the delusion both are intimately related. We need right knowledge. Right knowledge leads to right conception. I'm going to talk about this conception. Right knowledge builds up a right conception in my mind. Right conception results into right perception. Right perception results into right sensation. Right sensation, right thought, right speech, right action. So everything is right from the beginning to an end. Delusion is gone. But when the mind is filled with the wrong knowledge, only the delusion. And because of that delusion, you have a sense of attachment, then it is a conditional love. That is why we are suffering. Are you getting it? Have you heard about the third eye? I'm sure you might have heard about the third eye. Did you pay attention to the phrase the third eye? We don't say third eyes. We don't say third eyes. Or we don't even say the third pair of or the pair of third eyes. We simply say singular third eye. And so if there is a third eye, there is always a second eye and also the first eye. What is this? Third eye comes from the Eastern wisdom, the phrase. So our master metaphorically, symbolically discusses our perception, our thought process, our clarity living in the world. The third eye means I have an ultimate perception of the reality. What is that perception? The moment I see you behind your name and the form and the gender and the challenges that you have. I see you as the real self, full of peace, happiness, love, truth, and wisdom. Because I awakened my third eye. Are you clear? What about the second eye? Second eye is the basic human mind. And the human mind follows the ethical and morality. It is the ethical way of living. It is the self disciplined way of living. Why it is a self disciplined? You have taken over the control over the animal mind of craziness, of laziness, of blame, of complaint, of sensuality, of seeking pleasure from the world. You have given some kind of a discipline to the mind. That is why it is known as the second eye. And what about the first eye? First eye is about the animal nature. Did you understand? I was talking yesterday to this young guy. He said, I saw a beautiful girl and I got attracted to it. I said, why you got attracted? You're not attracted to the wall. You are not attracted to the computer. You're not attracted to so many things. Why you are attracted to the girl? So because he has been with me for a couple of years, so he said, was it a sensuality, seeking a physical pleasure? I said, yes. That is the first type. So I explained to him about the first eye. So the first eye means animal instinct, impulsive nature. And impulsive nature is the animal mind. It always looks for pleasure from the world outside, food, safety, and sleep. Four instincts, programmed. So if my perception comes from the pre-programmed mind, I have the first eye. And when we have the first eye, we always suffer. Second eye, we go little above. No, this is not fair. This is not good. This is right. This is wrong. So I follow values. Values are found in human beings, not in animals. Someone knocks the door, you find your son, you follow the value. What is that value? You are mom and he is your son. What is the second aspect in the second eye? That human mind is self discipline, even if you like someone or you don't like. They say, come on, son, have a breakfast. Come on, have a tea with me. You're purely self discipline. You don't get carried away. Second eye, third eye, you're already awakened. You are in peace, happiness, love, truth, and wisdom. All your attachments and emotional dependence have gone. Symbolic. That is what the people, here, if you go and ask people what is the third eye, they say, okay, close your eyes, meditation, and third eye will be open. It has nothing to do with the physical eyes. It's a metaphor, it's a symbol. And that is the goal of the entire Eastern wisdom. Why I brought up this issue is that in the second eye, whether we are self-disciplined, our intellect is deluded, mind is impure, so it claims attachment, impulsive, driven pleasure as the conditional love. It is the love, but it is conditional love. And that conditional love is attachment, duality, conflict, etc. Our topic is hammer the delusion. So when you hammer the delusion, all kinds of delusions are gone. Can you imagine when all kinds of delusions are gone, will you continue to remain anxious, reactive, blame, complain? Will you continue to seek approval from others? Think. I'm just asking you to think. So first is that you have hammered the delusion, but there are some emotional content still present because of the old habit, and you do the practice. You redirect the mind inside and stay there until you discover the unconditional love, and the life changes completely. The life transforms. Delusion. Hammer the delusion. So this delusion caused by three factors. One is the ignorance, second is the insistence of the false I, and third is the Maya. We use the word Maya. Maya is a cosmic illusion. Ignorance, I don't know my real nature. False I insist on what the false I does. False I always lives with attachment, always seeking and expecting something from the world outside. Always seeking, expecting. So when I'm seeking and expecting something from the world outside, from some person, from some situation, from some event, my mind is already overwhelmed with bunch of the thoughts associated with emotions. And all of them together creates a conception. What is that conception? A set of thoughts, feeling, emotions. They are living in the mind below the conscious level, and they manifest when I interact with the world. So as long as those impressions, those impressions which are full of delusion, attachment, expectations are already present in me, how can I live my life peacefully? We are trying to understand, we are understanding what we have to hammer. The topic is hammer the delusion and find the unconditional love. So if we understand what is delusion, it becomes clear for us. So a simple way, when I told you before also, spend only 10 to 15 minutes before you go to bed. Write down how many times, how many times you experience anxiety, anger, hesitation, expectation, blame, complaint, duality, upset. 5 times only. No. Then pick up each statement. Oh, I got upset because of this. And start exploring, contemplating, and reflecting. You will find that ultimate cause is the delusion. Ultimate cause is the first eye or the mixture of the first and the second eye. So we are trying to understand the delusion so that we can hammer it. How we can hammer it? By understanding. But why only by understanding? You look into the sky, it's a beautiful blue sky. But you 100% know the science has proved us the sky is not blue. What appears true is not true. Now you have understood. So what is happening in your mind? You're clear. You don't have those bunch of thoughts. Your conception is clear, so your perception is clear. Your perception is clear, so your sensation is clear. Why blue sky? You meet your sun, conception is clear, perception is clear, sensation. You'll communicate with the right thought, right speech, and right action, my friend. Are you getting it? So this delusion, we say this delusion is a specific form of illusion that arises from ignorance and is characterized by attachment, infatuation, and confusion. Three factors: attachment, infatuation, and confusion. And they have many permutation and combination. One of the permutation and combination is seeking approval, seeking pleasure from the world outside. I also am seeking approval from you. Am I right? I always, sometimes I ask people, am I right? Am I right? Am I right? So when asking, am I right? I'm asking whether you have understood or not. This is not approval. So hammer the delusion and find the unconditional, which is a mental state. Delusion is a mental state that in which an individual becomes deeply attached or infatuated or confused with the temporary and the illusory aspect of the world, such as sensory pleasure, relationship, and possessions. That delusion clouds the mind and prevents to know what is right and good. It prevents you to find out your real nature. It even prevents you to even remember that your real nature is full of peace, happiness, love, truth, and wisdom. And because it prevents, so you have a desire because of the attachment and infatuation. Because you have a desire, that desire is already lives with hesitation or repeating the desire. So all the three factors causes the delusion. Another way to understand. First, I said attachment, characterized by attachment, infatuation, confusion, any thought, feeling with emotion. That is one definition of the delusion. And second definition of the delusion, what is the second definition of the delusion? That this attachment that results into desire plus hesitation plus repeat idea of the repeat desire, all the three causes the delusion. So before any desire, I have to find out whether this desire is caused by the delusion or this desire is a need based desire. Going to the restroom, need based desire. Grabbing a cup of tea and coffee, need based desire. I need a coffee, you go to the kitchen. No, I only need an espresso coffee. I don't have the machine to make the espresso coffee. And that is why I am upset. Attachment, desire, hesitation. I want to repeat the same desire because I'm insisting on the espresso, delusion. I'm attached to my daughter. I'm giving you the same example. You have to understand it clearly. Why understand clearly? Hammer the delusion. I'm attached to my daughter. That is deeper inside. You don't have a thought. Because of that attachment, you have a desire. What is that desire? Oh, let me discuss with her to ask if she agrees with it or not. So attachment is hidden, desire has come. Now you discuss. So you are fulfilling the desire. So you are fulfilling the desire by expressing your thought to her. Then what happens? If it is approved, you feel you have to repeat it. If it is not approved, you are agitated. You are already into delusion. And when you are in delusion, you are upset. So, what happens in delusion? Another definition of the delusion hides your real nature. Why it hides your real nature? Because in the delusion, my mind has a millions of thoughts, created a conception, and I want fulfillment from the world outside. So delusion hides my real nature. You even forget that you are made up of the peace and happiness, joy. What problem you have in your life? You have a beautiful house. You have a wise intellect. You lived your life beautifully. You have all the resources to buy anything in the world. what else you need, so that you have lot of expectations from the people situation you. Have you ever thought like this? Am I able to meet all my needs through my finances? Yes. I'm stable in my economic resources? Yes. Do I have a house? Yes. Is my body physically, I have a higher level of physical well-being as compared to the people of our same age? Yes or no? It is yes. I would say yes. Are you wise? Yes. What else you need? So what else you need? I, instead of desire, I said need. So your need-based desire can easily be fulfilled because of what you have, what you possess, and what you are. You can live the most wonderful life on this earth. And that is disturbed by the delusion. And then we fall back into the trap of the delusion. We have to hammer the delusion by understanding, by knowledge. This delusion affects every individual on this earth. And we say that if you are not awakened to the third eye, if you are not awakened to the real nature, if you are not awakened to your real nature, then one or the other form of delusion is going to return. So we are already into the process. The delusion, I told you, there is a mental state characterized by confusion, attachment, false perception, infatuation. What a beautiful rainway. Come on. Enjoy the beauty of the rainway, but at the same time, you know it is delusion. What happens? It keeps your mind in check. It removes that delusion. Delusion arises when one is caught up in the illusions of the material world and ego, the false I. Delusion exists within the mind. Delusion exists within the mind, and it influences my thought, emotion, and action. I told you in the very beginning, right thought, right speech, right action. The major reason behind the delusion that I even do not think of my real self, I do not have a clarity. Why I don't have a clarity? So whatever I think, if I'm thinking of anxiety, getting upset and sad, this is what is me. But this is not you. The Eastern wisdom brings a clarity. No, this is not you. You are the real self. You are not the false I. So in the very beginning, hammering the delusion, we understood that the delusion is Maya, ignorance, and false I. We covered two. Then what about this ignorance? Ignorance means I don't know. Why I don't know? Because I'm guided and dictated by the delusion. It's a fundamental ignorance. It is also known as fundamental misunderstanding. You can say misconception. How long this ignorance is present in the world? Since time immemorial. It is the root cause of the cycle of frustration, anxiety, duality, conflict, problem. Maya is another name. We are trying to understand that what this delusion is. So once I have an understanding, I can hammer this delusion by contemplation and reflection, by giving a reasoning, cause and effect relationship, and that is going to clear my mind. Once the mind is clear, now it can go within So when I take the mind within, I find an unconditional love. So my life is minus delusion plus unconditional love. So now you have a right thought, speech, and action every day. So you don't have a chance to fall into anxiety, duality, conflict. It's a deeper concept. This is I'm just introducing. Hammer the delusion. Each verse will give you such a deeper meaning to your life. But we are talking about the Maya. Maya is also a cosmic illusion that creates appearance of multiplicity and separation in the world. Maya creates a veil that conceals our real self. And when it conceals our real self, then all kinds of problems. Understand clearly. I told you that I made the three words: conception, perception, sensation, then thought associated with emotion results either into suffering or into peace and happiness. Take the same example of this boy, but I appreciate this boy. He's wise enough and he understood it. And he said, "Sir, I know what you are trying to say, and I'm very clear about it." Situation is the same. So I told him that now you see, girl, beautiful girl is there. First eye, as a sensual desire, it is because of wrong perception, it is because of the false eye, it is because of the attachment, it is because of the impulsive nature. You are the same, girl is the same. Now you follow with the second eye and you say, this girl is like my sister, my mom. Do you see? So if your conceptions means accumulated impression in the mind, millions and trillions of impressions are accumulated. They are already present in our mind all the time. So when I wake up, those impressions are waiting to manifest itself. So you saw a girl. Now, from those millions of impressions, the negative impressions popped up in your mind and you saw the sensuality. Now, in the same conception area, you have a positive impression and then you saw the girl. There is no change in outer situation, my friend. Situation, how daring the situation may be, how challenging the situation may be in your life, you can hammer the delusion by the knowledge. So he was excited. He said, "What a wonderful way to see the our life." So he said, "All my actions are dictated by though that conception which is an accumulated impression in my head." Answer is yes. Negative impressions are the impurities of the mind. That is what we are talking about. We have to purify the mind. Do you see the movement? Conception, perception, sensation, attachment, thought, desire, fulfilled action. So either we have a wrong conception, it pops up, it creates a perception. So I see a perception. And then it causes the sensation. Then I have a wrong thought, speech, and action. And I have the positive conception. It results into perception, sensation, right thought, speech, and action. Life is done. You don't change yourself. Internal knowledge is there. When I say the sky is blue, you don't go up into the sky to find out if the sky is blue or not. We'll talk about it. This is known as the power of discernment. So, yes, let us go a little deeper. So, but how come this conception? We say the conception is a vasana. What is vasana? Vasana means that we have an impression, tendencies, inclinations that are present in the mind in millions of thoughts, feeling, and emotions. And this vasana is of two types, positive and negative. So by knowledge, by understanding, we are removing the negative vasana and strengthening the positive vasana. If we don't transform this vasana, our perception will always be deluded and it will cause challenges to our life. What are those challenges? During the day, how many times you get upset, reactive, frustrated because of this? So we are hammering the delusion by knowledge. Mind is clear. We can move the mind within to find the unconditional love. That is the text we are going to study. I'm just laying an introduction of that. Don't forget, hammer the delusion, find an unconditional love. So when I become aware of these movements, it is simply a movement. Take the same example, the girl and the beauty. Sensual desire is a thought associated with an emotion. Human desire to have a belongingness that she looks like my sister and mom. This is another perception. It is a knowledge. You need not to practice anything. But yes, for you have to move the mind within to find an unconditional love. For that, you need to practice. Are you clear? That is why I said contemplation and reflection is very, very important. So when I become aware of these movements of the vasana, I can transform them. We can gradually shift our perception. You are the same person, but my perception changes. That is what life is. You did not ask anyone to change. By knowledge, by understanding. And when you change yourself, vasanas, vasanas are latent impressions formed through repeated experiences and stored in our subconscious mind. So we already understood negative impressions stored, it results into negative perception. Negative perception, deluded perception, then deluded sensation, then wrong thought, then wrong speech, then wrong action. And then what is it then? Then there is a constant suffering in our life. How does suffering manifest? In the form of anxiety, duality. I am repeating, my dear friend, so that you remember these words, and these words may trigger your mind when you are living in the world days after days, weeks after weeks, so that you are living into the wisdom inside. And now you know you have a right thought, speech, and action. Let us dig little deeper into this vasana aspect or the delusion aspect. First, let us take the delusion aspect. I have a mistaken identity with a thought inside my head associated with an emotion, it will cause lot of problems. So you have a mistaken identity that is why you are seeking approval. Should I seek an approval to teach you and to guide you? Or should I rely wholly on the knowledge of Eastern wisdom? With confidence, I should guide you. And at the same time, I should seek your challenges, whatever the challenges that you have, you should address to me, and I'm here to take care. So, first is the mistaken identity. Second is the error in perception. What I perceive, the way I perceive, I have some sort of anxiety and the fear. That's why I want an approval. I doubt myself. There is a negative self image about myself. That is the reason of the delusion. And then the fourth one, the emotional dependence. Even though it appears positive, how it appears positive, I go to my relations and friends and I emotionally depend. Normally, it appears as if it is positive. No, it is not positive. Because deep inside me, because of the emotional dependence, there is a sense of anxiety. I'm telling you the factors which causes the delusion. So just I'm restricting only to the three aspects: the mistaken identity, error in perception, and the emotional dependence, which fits your personality. You have to, and the fourth one, yes, lack of awareness of reality. What is that lack of awareness of reality? That is the fourth one. That I feel emptiness when I'm surrounded by the deluded thoughts associated with an emotion. And that is why I start searching the solution outside. Lack of awareness of reality. See that? I forget everything of the Eastern wisdom in that moment. And when after the incident took place, then I remembered. So, but during that period, I'm already into anxiety. It is an unexamined life, a false impression or a belief. So hammer the delusion means what? I think I contemplate on any thought associated with frustration, anxiety, upset, and emotions. I separate. Emotion, you stay here. Thoughts, you stay here. So let me understand this thought. So this thought you contemplate and reflect, and you drop the delusion part. Now the emotion part. So what emotion is seeking approval, attachment from outside? No. Let me move the mind within, do the practice, enjoy that peace. Hammer, master, name the steps. Hammer the delusion. The hammer symbolizes forceful, uncompromising approach to confront your delusion, confront your anxiety through the thought process. Get rid of it from today. And tell me how many times you had those delusions and in what way you got rid of it. We need to learn, reflect, and then apply the principles of Eastern wisdom in daily life. And it can. So, second factor, when I said that, awaken to the unconditional love after hammering the delusion by intellectual understanding. The next step is to find the love within. Again, knowledge is required. So I have to differentiate between conditional love and unconditional. I gave an example of a coffee. Unconditional love can only be discovered within us when the mind is pure, behind the delusion. Then we can think, speak, and act in that state. I love all my students. Intense love is there to everyone. What happens with that intense love? You have a compassion, you have a caring attitude. Why you have a caring attitude? Because now you know that. You can define it. So when you don't have, you have a conditional love. Conditional love means that your mind is engaged with the attachment and detachment, with the strong likes and dislikes, with the blame and complaint and reaction. That prevents unconditional love, but can be hammered by the knowledge. So we have to recognize the delusion of the conditional love. I made it clear. Second point, hammering the delusion with intellectual understanding. I have to repeat it. What the heck I'm into anxiety? Is there any reason? No, I'm attached to it, but why I'm attached? No, because I feel the sense of emptiness. No, okay, purify the mind and take the mind within. Fundamentally, you discover that unconditional love within yourself through self reflection and the practice. And when you do the practice, and then what happens? Now you are into that mode. And we all have that level of unconditional love. When you show and express your love without any of preference, likes and dislikes of any object and a person, it is unconditional love. We know it. We have an idea about it. So then what happens? Your life moves into the unconditional love in thought, speech, and action. When you have that thought, speech, and action, just close your eyes. Close your eyes for a while. Find out you're comfortable. You're comfortable. You're carefree. Look, feel the sensation in the entire body, from the top of the head to the toes. Are you moving with an attachment or you are moving with a care? You are moving with a care. You experience sensation, relaxation, and stillness in the body. I'm simply saying, move your mind. Moving the mind does not mean forcing the mind. Moving the mind on the entire body and experience sensation, relaxation, and stillness. In that, in that moment of sensation, relaxation, and stillness, you are looking at the breath that is going in and out. You are not adjusting, trying to change the rate and the rhythm of the breath. You are simply aware of the breath. Why we are aware of the breath? You are removing lack of awareness. Do you see? You're getting rid of the mistaken identity. You have already bypassed the body, which is in the state of sensation, relaxation, and stillness. You're looking at the breath. Breath is moving gently with a nice sensation inside the nose. When you are looking in, now look deeper than the breath. That is the location of the mind. You have thought, feeling, emotions. Any undesirable, unwelcome thought enters into your mind. Simply remember, hammer the delusion. Those thoughts will flee. Behind that mind, there is an emptiness. When we are overwhelmed with attachment, strong likes and dislikes, blame, complaint, reaction, our mind is forced to be empty. That emptiness is the false emptiness. In the false emptiness is surrounded by these likes and dislikes. So when people say, I feel hollowness, I feel loneliness, it is because of this. But at this moment, your emptiness is fulfillment. You enjoy that state of the calmness and peace in that state of emptiness. And in that state of emptiness, you drop mentally Shanto Hum. You look into this emptiness, pick a point in the space, and in the space you drop Shanto Hum. That means I'm the peace. Peace is like a good space. More you do it, so you're not in a hurry. You again pick up the space, point in the space, Shantuham. Mentally, non verbally, you say. So after the Shantuham, the mind looks into the good space. That good space is empty. You may find thrilling sensation into the whole body, the joy and the calmness. Whenever you are free, you can extend that practice even for an hour. Can you do it? Let us see. Mm. Shanti, shanti, shanti. Mm. Shanti, shanti, shanti. Mm. Shanti, shanti, shanti. Open your eyes gently and stay in that pose. Stay in that condition for a while, for a few minutes. Hammer the delusion. Find an unconditional love.